What's good, everybody? This is Queen Common Sense coming back to you from the Chi Town, holding it down. I was just thinking, and I'm not going to be before you long. The latest development with our beautiful Dr. Melody Cherie Rogers and that trickery of King Cobra Carlos trying to lure her on set, allegedly at Stormy's event that she just recently had, where she was dressed like she looked like Dolly Parton, in my opinion. And Nell had to, well, she didn't have to, but she didn't appear to an engagement or two, allegedly, that she had already booked because she was holding the date uh, to meet some commitments that she had made prior to this last incident where King Carlos, Cobra Carlos, pulled another trickery. And she said, you know what? Never again will I ever cancel anything that I already have pre booked for my people who have been holding me down since day one, like full flat tires, to try to film with this idiot, and have this other epic idiot, King Cobra Carlos, come in and try to trick me into filming with him. Now, couple of things. I want to jog us backwards a little bit, rewind to the Houston trip. And I don't know if y'all remember, but I do. I remember when you know, they were playing Houston trip and Melody said clearly when she's there, just keep me in a part of a house where I don't have to interact with him. I don't have to, you know, be around him for prolonged periods of time and I'm good. I'm good. You put a lock on my door or I can lock my door, stay safe, right? Now here we have Cap and Kimmy all down Melody's throat, itching to find any inclination that she too was cheating on her ex-husband, much like uh Maurice Maurice Luther King cheats on her regularly, allegedly, in my opinion, to this day. Uh they just had a little bit too much fun watching this exchange in Houston. And I still question if Nell is really Melody's friend because before they got to Houston, this was the preliminary conversation where Melody put out her boundaries. It was like, look, I don't have a problem with the cash trip to Houston. Just like I say, keep that ninja at bay, and I'm cool. Long as he don't cross no lines and start no junk with me, don't start nothing where it won't be none, right? And right here is where I began to truly see right through Miss Nail. Her energy didn't really sit well with me when she first came on the show as a friend of the show and started making more appearances and filming more. I just didn't really, my spirit didn't gel too well with Miss Nell and what she was trying to do with her attempt at counseling the Holts before they divorced. I just thought that that was very telling. Subconsciously, it's like you want me to suffer in silence, like you suffer in silence, and continue to torture myself and allow this person, this monster, to torture me just for the sake of us having something to talk about, compare notes with. So if your situation starts to unfold and become a little bit worse than mine, then I could give you that charitable friendship and really pour jacked up advice so that I can level myself to you because it's always got to be a queen bee in the bunch of women. And a lot of times the older women feel like they should have, that status among a group of women friends because they're the oldest. Not necessarily are they the wisest. Let's look at Dr. Jackie, for example. Okay. Now, here they were having fun, at the new little place, the Western theme, before they left for the trip. And Nell was trying to, kind of, talk Melody into going out, girls' night once they get to Houston. They're going to have a girls' night. The guy's going to have a guys' night. And Nell was all up in the mix trying to, lure Melody into some clandestine activities, which would then in turn devalue her moral and ethical standards to then deface her journey with keeping clean hands in dragging hotel, motel, Holiday Inn through the mud, the muck, the mire, the briar, and the bram. Okay. In my opinion, King Cobra Carlos has feelers. And I think, in my opinion, Miss Nell is also low key backdoor jealous of Melody and how quickly she bounced back and surpassed the success of the Fletchers. 30-year, 29-year stint of being power couple, whatever. And Melody is no longer a couple, part of a couple, right? Just walk with me on this. The spirit dropped this into into my mind this morning. And, it's very parallel and akin to some things that I'm going through right now in my personal life as well with not a spouse, thank goodness, or an ex spouse, but just so called family members and relatives who they gaslight you into thinking that they love you and really they want to see you suffer and make fun of it and point, laugh, and chide about your pain behind your back, all while they smiling in your face to set you up to have an encounter with the devil that might eliminate you. And even if it did, they would not bring any flowers to your home going. So this scene right here really struck me, and I had to go back to it because, Miss Nell was a little tipsy. They were having fun. Okay, cool. But this is supposed to be Melody's friend. Somebody who she can look up to, somebody who she confides in, trusts, has the wisdom, and so on and so forth. Now, we all see that the advice and the counseling that the Fletchers attempted to provide for Melody and her ex husband didn't go over well. Okay. And I see that Melody said, I'll let you hold that. We still friends. We still school cool. You still support me. Okay, fine. In friendships, there's a little give and take. Sometimes when we are, preoccupied with other things, trying to gain our footing and maintain that stability and keep moving forward, we let things live. We'll let it breathe. Okay, let it burn. All right, that's one. Okay. Now, this scene, once they got to the trip, of course, you know, the sidewinder had to spark up more trouble and try to deflect off of him the responsibility of what he did to ruin his entire family single-handedly, right? And as they had it out for a quick little minute, and what stirred the pot was Kiki coming. And they also tried to throw that on Mel as well. Well, Mel said that she could come. No, Mel did not say she could come. Mel said, call the host of the trip and see if it's okay if you come, Kiki. That's how I understood it. Now, somehow that attention on the Kiki showing up stirred the pot, you know, segued over into Melody and how she allegedly was supposed to have been cheating as well during the marriage prior to the first separation and all of that. Okay. Prior to her moving out the first time when she left for 6 months, there was allegations of Mel cheating then too. Now, he tried to reach and take it further back and say, okay, before you got the apartment and left me, you was cheating then when you would take your time to decompress away from me, right? And get her me time, her girl time, her self care time. At that point, this was allegedly when uh the snake of all snakes accused Mel of cheating. Okay, so he just can't hold the L. You just can't hold that L. Now, as we see, when Melody was putting it down once again for the 959th time, you know, I didn't see anybody until after we separated and it was done. Clearly, we all see that because guess who crashed her date and put it up and exposed it? And Kimmy hanging on to every word, hoping that Melody would possibly say, well, now that I think about it, maybe I did see somebody. It's almost as if like she is waiting with bated breath here to see if there's any inconsistencies in Melody's story. That's why I don't like Captain Kim. Okay. Now, what really pisses me off about these people is, you know, here we are almost 4 years in, divorced, done, everything's sold up tight. We're no longer together. We don't owe each other anything but co-parentage, right? And here Melody is missing events and things that she has turned down because King Cobra Carlos tried to lure her into filming at an event where her ex-husband was filming or attending, allegedly. Okay. Now, this just to sum it all up, in my opinion, I think that everybody had a part in trying to pull the okey doke on Melody and lure her into this trap eventually of filming at this party that Stormy had. That's just my opinion. Now, I could be wrong. I'm just looking at it from a spiritual standpoint and how things have been unfolding all along. Do I want to believe that Nell is that sneaky and crafty that she would, you know, indirectly yet directly try to lure Melody into filming with her ex-husband after clearly stating that my boundaries are as long as we are as far apart as possible? I'm good with that. These are the precautions to keep myself safe so I can return back home to my children. Now, this is something that really bothered me with the Houston trip because of that scene where they were doing the trust fall, right? And it was Martell's turn to catch Melody, and she's like, "Bull, I'm not. I just fall down on the ground myself because you let me fall. You fumbled me anyway." And then it was Melody's turn to catch Martell, and she was like, "Bump that. I'm not doing shit." She walked away. She's like, "I'm not doing it because I specifically said I will attend, but these are my boundaries, hard and fast. And no matter what is stated and how it's stated and when it's stated, it could be in front of the whole group or individually. It seems like it's a few people on the cast that still try to force Melody to film with Carlos. Now, me, my experience with a narcissist, anybody that we have mutually in common that are still friends with both of us, I don't trust because I'm of the mind that I don't fuck with who people who still fuck with people that I don't fuck with. You feel me? Because you just never know. People have slip ups all the time and they talk a little bit too much and overshare, and some things get screwed, chopped, and remixed into something else when they play a game of telephone, he say, she say. Okay. Now, this is just a theory. This is just my opinion. This is just me channeling what the spirit spoke to me about this whole thing and the outcome of Melody missing events because she decided to hold the date where King Cobra Carlos allegedly expected her to film at an event of where the ops were in attendance. Okay, not to mention missing some money, probably, in my opinion. And see, this is what narcissists will do. Even years after you have moved on and said, you know what, I'm Gucci, I'm doing fine, I'm mentally and spiritually healing, I'm in a good headspace, you know, my pocketbook is looking good, lots of zeros and commas up in there, you know, I'm doing my mommy thing or my parent thing and everything like that. They'll still try to spin the block on you. And if they can't get to you, if they can't get to the children, they will try to ruin the bag. Okay? This is how narcissists do. They never change. So this is just my opinion that I feel that whether it's deliberately or inadvertently or not purposely, everybody that went on that Houston trip, save a few people, had a hand in trying to lure Melody on set with her ex, where she missed gigs that she had promised to attend because she had to quote unquote work. I don't know. Y'all tell me what you think. Drop it in the comments. I'm really side eyeing everybody. Okay. And here's a little thing here where, you know, I have a sister who was a lot like Miss Nell, where growing up as young ladies, teens, preteens, you confide in your sibling, and it's supposed to go God, no higher, right? Between me and God. Well, she was the golden child and she had the displaced loyalty. And she would turn around and go and report things back to our parents, you know. And it wasn't like I was, threatened to take my own life or do anything to harm anybody. It was just my own personal feelings about our home life, right? And being that we grew up in the same household, my sister was exposed to the same type of volatility between our parents that I was and the other siblings were, my two brothers. So my sister is the golden child to my mother, right? And in their eyes, I was a golden child to my father. And all of my siblings knew what the home life was like. But my sister would goad me into venting to her so that she could report everything back to my mom. And then my mom could turn and then use that as leverage against my dad because I was daddy's little girl. Okay. And my sister, too, is very passive aggressive. She's very sarcastic, very smug, arrogant, and haughty, very shallow and empty. right? And she has zero accountability, like all narcissists do. So, uh, after years and years of this kind of abuse, I decided to start responding several years ago to this betrayal of trust that was ongoing up until I went no contact with them, right? And then even after that, you know how they gang stalk you, they hover, they send flying monkeys and so forth. Whenever you respond to and hold their feet to the fire as to why I no longer fuck with you, right? So I understand a lot of how Melody feels when she says this put her into a mental spiral because it's a mind fuck. It really is. And when you look around you and say, okay, who are the people that would want me to miss a bag to show up to film with somebody that I have clearly stated I will not film with, and due to my current legal situation with this person, I I can't in so many ways. I just I'm not going to do it. I'm not able to do that mentally, physically. I'm just not going to do it. And why is that respected? With starting with the Fletchers, okay? Carlos, we all know what's up with that, with his blind, deliberate disconnection, you know, from what actually is really happening and why Melody has the boundaries set that she does. You know, clearly her safety, the well being of her and her children are not a priority, nor is her boundaries. You know, this is all, in my opinion, a sign of subconscious jealousy and envy of anybody involved who has tried to encourage her to stay in a toxic marriage with this person who threw everything out the window for a thought, a professional thought. So it's just, just just my thoughts, channeling the spirit, looking at certain things, you know, and reflecting on how all of this unfolded starting from the Houston trip all the way up until now. And we notice whenever Melody has an event and people show up to support her, they show up, they show out. It's explosive support. And you notice there's the copycat follow up, the rear piccolo player following people who try to take precedent in making fireworks happen like Melody does. And it always falls flat. Okay. So we had the Mellowcon live podcast, pack the house. Right after that, here comes Stormy with her big gala with, you know, Hood Booger Fest. And Melody has announced other things that have been scheduled that she is hosting. Mimosas with Melody. And that's talks of having an annual Mellowcon without King Cobra Carlos. Okay. So just pondering, kind of shuffling around some things, some thoughts, putting it out there in the atmosphere to see what people think. Are Nell, Chris, you know, are they really friends to Melody? Or are they really friends to her ex? Because in my opinion, all the people that are on the cast were never really Melanie's friends because Martell introduced them to her, and then she then in turn placed them on prospects to be on the cast of the show. Okay. So that's just, just my 2 cents. Y'all tell me know in the comments what you think and come back to you again soon later with another channel from Spirit. This is Queen Common Sense. One love, and I'm out.